On the EB-1A side, we're recording this January 2023. Spotify announced 6% of their workforce is laid off. Google, pretty similar numbers. So there's a lot of folks that work in technology that had the H-1B, and maybe they've been trying with other immigrant categories that you'll go into. What's their likelihood of getting the EB-1A? Like what percent of these
So
software engineers and
in
technologists could get an EB-1A?
the last 6 months, we have seen a massive hike in EB-1A denials. Massive.
Is that just because it's like the only option some of them can do to?
Industry-wide, we're seeing denials. My theory is it's a combination of two things. One, we know that USCIS has been hiring a lot to try to meet its goals for processing. So we have training issues. That's for sure. But in the technology sector, the fact that we're seeing a lot of H-1Bs laid off and 75% of H-1Bs are Indian nationals, EB-1A is the only EB category that is current. So we have a lot of Indian nationals, right? Because as I said, there's 40,000, but there's a backlog for certain nationalities. So what I think is happening is that we're seeing a much higher volume in EB-1A applications, premium processed, than we've seen ever. Because if people are getting laid off and this is their only option to self-petition and stay, we're going to see everybody and their cousin trying this, even though a normal attorney would advise, hey, this is not a good
or
case.
like wait 4 or 5 years, you need to build up your status.
Right, but at this point, people are desperate, so they're like, let me give it a shot. But what ends up happening is we're seeing a very high volume. I think USCIS is seeing a very high volume of applications that A, might not be quality, or B, they look exactly the same. And that's the problem, right? EB-1As, they want to see someone special and unique. Okay. If everyone they're seeing is an accomplished software technology, data scientist, the same profile, they don't see it as special. It's just rubber stamping.
So it's kind of like a university admissions council. Like they're not going to just admit everyone from New York State. If you're talking about Cornell University, for example, they want to have a bunch of countries. They want to have all 50 states if possible. I had some friends at college that were from random, North Dakota.
Listen,
and they said it helped them get in, and I'm sure it did.
I was the Miami Venezuelan girl, and it helped me get into schools in the Northeast, so I get it. But I also think it's got to do with the fact that the category is called extraordinary ability, which by definition means uncommon. So it's like you rise above everybody else. They cannot approve 40,000 people in the same profile or industry and call them all extraordinary. It's not going to happen. So what's really happening is it's having a negative consequence on all applications. I'm right now telling my clients to hold back their EB-1s until EB-1 India retrogresses, because once that retrogresses, we'll see a decline in filings. And then the pool of applications that premium processing is processing, we'll see less of that, just like, oh, deny, deny, deny.
And then on the EB-1C side, can a business owner sponsor himself? Like, could he technically be the executive or manager at his own business?
Yes, although we have seen USCIS bringing up this whole, like, how can you be a multinational executive and be the executive of your own business? Because there is this sort of idea that you're an employee. There are arguments to be made, but I'm seeing that there's some conflict there. The other interesting thing about EB-1 is that the policy is you have to have worked for the company abroad for 1 year continuously in the last 3. A lot of business owners abroad aren't on salary. And that's a problem. You have to have a year of documented salary. So, some clients, they've had their companies for years, but they weren't on payroll. So I can't show that they were employed. And that's the definition. So you gotta think about that one when you're advising a client. The other thing is the company abroad has to remain active during the process until you get the green card, because then it stops being a multinational. And what we've seen is a lot of people getting ready to shut down their other company once they come here. And they're like, oh, I got my L and my E and got my L. I'm going to close down Venezuela's factory, or I'm going to shut down my Argentinian business. And you're like, wait, no, your L depends on it continuing to be a multinational. So, but the EB-1C now has premium processing.